year 2032. The city, Los Angeles. The movie, Demolition Man. The restaurant.
Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Exactamundo.
The demo deal. Buy a burrito supreme, nachos, and a large drink for one low price. And get an official Demolition Man movie poster absolutely free.
I'm impressed.
The supply's limited. The conclusion, get to Taco Bell today.
Laser beam, prepare for flight, course heading northeast.
Hello everybody, and thank you very much for your time today. And today I'm coming to you from Columbia, South Carolina. Yes. Alright guys, I am back at Richland Mall in Columbia, of course. And we are here for an update with Laserbeak concerning the demolition of the mall. So let's go ahead and start to fly around, zoom in, go a little bit closer. Guys, unfortunately, it is coming to be the end here. I believe probably my next visit to Richland Mall will be the mall is completely gone. So as we look, we see that Dillard's off to the left, I believe that was Dillard's, is still up. We also have the Belk part of the building still up, and we're actually going to do a really cool, very close zoom in on that Belk location. So please stay tuned for that. And it looks like the Parisian is 100% gone. And then, of course, as you see there, the parking deck is currently still standing. I think the parking deck is going to stay as part of the renovation. Now, when I opened the video here, we started with a Demolition Man Taco Bell commercial. One of my big shout outs for the city of Columbia, South Carolina, is that it unfortunately used to, have a Del Taco. Now, I am not a big fan of Taco Bell. I believe that the meat that is in Taco Bell currently is almost like baby food. It is not even real meat, at least in my opinion. I'm sure it might be. But anyway, Columbia used to have a Del Taco next to the Columbiana Mall, and Del Taco was awesome. Whenever I was in the city, we would stop at Del Taco, get a big bag of food, and it was actually really, really good. So for those of you that are fans of Del Taco, let me know. And for those of you that are fans of Taco Bell, let me know also. We can have a good argument in the comment section. So as you see here over the Dillard's location, it looks like the entryway there, you see the little domed area with the black glass, that it is an island at this point. It seems that the water is really built up on the parking roof area. And yes, for those of you that don't know, this mall actually had the parking deck on the top of the mall. So the roof of the mall was a parking deck. And so I'm not sure if maybe that department store that we just spotted with all of the water on top of it is possibly now caving in as the rest of the structure is being demolished, because I've never seen that much water through my years here of my visits to Richland built up in the mall in that section. So I'm not sure if maybe they plugged the drainage lines going down to the ground, or maybe the sewer, or possibly that roof is now starting to buckle and cave in as the rest of the structure is taken away from the rest of the mall. So very sad to see here. But again, even though this is very sad and this is a demolition, ultimately this means progress for the city of Columbia. And also there are a lot of new smaller buildings and strip malls that are now popping up around this mall in the different intersections and roads in this section of town. So this is definitely a positive thing. The mall was already dead. It was not going to return. And also I want to give a big shout out to Sal and the X-Log, because Sal absolutely has the #1 best video that I certainly consider for this mall. He filmed it actually during C19. Really great video. And also I want to give some shout outs to Doomy Grunt and also Kristen from Unicom. They also have videos here, and also a big shout out to Anthony from Ace's Adventures. Now, I don't think Dan Bell ever visited this mall. Somebody in one of my previous videos actually made a comment, hey, what are you not going to give a shout out to Dan Bell? It's like, guys, come on now. I constantly am shouting out Dan Bell. He is the godfather of dead malls. But of course, he has moved on to some other things. He's not really filming malls all that much anymore. He does post them every now and then. But the dead mall genre here on YouTube is absolutely saturated. So for those of us that are fans of dead malls, right now we are in what I consider the second and even going into the third wave of the dead mall YouTubers. We had our initial dead maulers like Dan Bell, like Sal, like Anthony from Ace's Adventures, Kristen from Unicom. And then we kind of had a second wave for a little while. And then now, at this current moment, I consider this the beginning of the third wave of dead maulers. We have a lot of channels with folks that are picking up their phones, picking up Osmo Pockets, and they're going into malls and they are filming. They are fascinated with malls. So now, while some of the videos might not be all of that impressive, they're shaky, maybe they're not edited all that well, I can certainly not complain because I am not big on editing any of my videos. This is a hobby for me, and what I like to do is just go in, take a film, go ahead and make some comments, do a voiceover, keep it very simple. So that's where the people like Sal and Anthony and Kristen, who spend a lot of time editing their videos, and of course Dan Bell, they edit their videos. They really take a lot of time. They put a lot of effort into it, especially Sal, the ultimate storyteller in the world of dead malls. So guys, I am not a member of DMod, but definitely check out DMod. I definitely want to give them a shout out, and all of the members of DMod, and also shout out Yodeling Loon. I've been following his channel a bunch, and the Vintage Spaces channel. Really love that channel also. And now, as we start to focus on the mall, let me go ahead and stop blabbing here. As we start to focus on the mall, as you see here, you see some of the lining that hangs down from the layers of each level of the mall. Recently, those layers and some of the tar, I believe, that is coated by those layers actually caught on fire. So please take a moment and definitely check out Fire at Richland Mall, possibly on YouTube. You can search for it, and you will see that only about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and as of this video, this is actually August 1st, by the way, this video was shot with the drone, and I am editing it this same night, so I wanted to get this up before the mall is fully gone. Excuse me. So ultimately, fire happened here at the mall. Luckily, I don't believe anybody got hurt, but what happened, from what I think happened at least, is that as they were starting to go ahead and tear away all of the membrane for the ceiling and the parking lot of the mall, or the parking deck over the mall, is that they started a fire accidentally. It certainly wasn't intentional. And so I'm hoping that everybody is safe. I have not seen an update on that news story. If anybody does know, certainly please put it in the comments. I am very curious. So this is a bit of an extended video, and we're going to spend some time here going a little bit slow, taking a look with the drone. Now in this instance right here, since there is no activity currently in this section where the Barnes & Noble was, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to zoom around here. We're going to zoom in and out during a few sections, so certainly stay tuned here. You're going to see some really great shots. Then also we are going to go over to the other side of the mall where it is active right now and the excavators actually are in action. So we're going to be right over the excavators as they're actually clearing away the mall. So kind of interesting, and I think you guys will certainly enjoy it. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on here. Obviously a lot of rubble. But for those of you that used to go to the Richland Mall, maybe you're from Columbia, maybe you moved away, let me know some of the stories here. And what I did notice in my last video, certainly look for part 2 and part 1 of my excavation, or not excavation, sorry, demolition videos, I actually got the movie theater. There's a random chair up on the parking deck. Pretty cool. This is actually the first time I've looked at this video as I'm talking, doing the voiceover with you guys. I typically go ahead and download my videos, and then I do a voiceover kind of live-ish. And I did not notice that there was a random office chair up on the top deck. So when I was here the last time, I didn't even notice that I was actually filming the movie theater that was literally sliced in half running down all of the seats, because it was a bit of a stadium style seating here. Not that much of a harsh angle, but it was a stadium style. Now, this is another cool aspect of now that things are a little bit more cleared out, and I'm able to get the drone a little bit closer here. You are going to see inside the Belk in a few moments, so just wait here. We're going to get in a little bit closer, and off to the left and to the right, you see the marble tiles that were the entrances to Belk. And take a look here. What do we have here? We have... I actually can't see it. I've got this kind of scaled down. What are the brands that are up on the wall there? And so I zoomed in, checked it out. Also, did you see that there are still the chrome racks for some clothing in the Belk? So really cool there. And I think the Belk is going to be totally torn down. If it's not, guys, let me know. It looks like, as you see here, as we go over the roof line, it looks like the roof has already been cut out for venting. And obviously Mother Nature is getting in there and raining down. Now, let's take a look at the active side of the property, at least for today during my visit on August 1st. We have the excavators. They are going ahead and filling up all of the trucks and taking away to whatever landfill Richland Mall might be living in for the rest of eternity. So, guys, if you also know where Richland Mall is going to be living in the landfills, go ahead and let me know. And my apologies here for coughing in the background. I am getting a little bit tired in the evening here, but I wanted to cut this video. But go ahead and take a look. That's actually where I believe the Parisian entered into the rest of the mall. And you see the excavator there grabbing what looks like a bunch of steel and possibly rebar that maybe has been ripped away from some concrete. So that's excavator number one. And off to the right there, we see excavator number two filling up the dumpster, and that's going to be obviously taken away to some landfill. Then you also see a cherry picker that I guess is maybe cutting some of the lines, or maybe doing some steel saw cutting to go into the concrete and kind of cut away at pieces. But right there, all of that we're looking at right now, that was Parisian and also some other parts of the mall. All gone now, guys, just rubble. There's the rest of the parking deck. There's some of the mall underneath there. And then also we're going to go to the back, and what I think actually was considered the front of the mall when it originally opened here. You're going to see Laserbeak zooming over the parking area. There we see a lot of water. This is, again, the first time that I've ever seen a lot of water on the parking deck. So I'm wondering if the parking deck is starting to give way and bow in some manner. So there you see one of the entrances going down into the mall, and also I believe that was one of the entrances that possibly went to what ultimately became the Verizon call center here at Columbia, or excuse me, not at Richland Mall here in Columbia. And there you see, I think this was originally considered the front of the mall, where all of this glass is, and there used to be a big sign, I think, where all that glass is, but then that got taken away from the mall, and I believe that got converted over to the Verizon call center. And guys, correct me in the comments, certainly here. I'm trying to piece together the history of this mall. This mall is almost like Fort Knox, you know, the way that it was laid out. And I never was inside the mall, by the way. I was only in the Barnes & Noble. So for those of you, you know, like Sal, like Ace, Kristen, and anybody else from Columbia, you know, let me know some more aspects of the mall here. I'm really curious as to what maybe I don't know you know, in these final days of the mall before it finally gets 100% carted away into a landfill and becomes a totally new property. Now we're going to go back to the side of the Dillards that I did not get in the initial zoom in. So we're going to go over that open area that's inactive at the moment. We're going to go over all of that water that's on the parking deck. So that is a lot of weight that is on that parking deck right now. And so that's where I'm very curious if the ceiling inside is possibly bowing over. And we're going to go ahead. And by the way, that over next, I think 1 or 2 stores over, is Slim Chickens, guys. So for those of you that know Huey Magoo's, they've been opening up some locations. Slim Chickens is a very similar location. They have chicken fingers and other chicken type items, obviously. You would think that Slim Chickens would have lots of beef and pork, but that's not the case. It's lots of chicken. So as we zoom in there, and we're going to go back and set Laserbeak down here in a moment. Guys, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. You know, this has been a lot of fun documenting with Laserbeak here at the Richland Mall in Columbia. I am a big fan of Columbia. It's a very cool city. I am fascinated with the history here. I'm up here often, actually. It's not too far away from Charleston. But final call here. I want to thank you very much for joining me. Greatly appreciate it. And please join me in the next video, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.
Laserbeak returns.